Hey everybody, this is Rycard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Movesets video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking all about the new Pokemon Bruxish, so let's get started by taking a look at this Pokemon's typing, abilities, and stats. So to start things off, Bruxish is a new Water Psychic type Pokemon that has access to 3 abilities, the first of which being a new ability known as Dazzling, which allows this Pokemon to block priority moves and attacks that are directed at it. As for its next ability, it is known as Strong Jaw, which is a great offensive ability for any Pokemon that has access to a lot of moves that bite the opponent, such as this Pokemon, which has access to stuff like Psychic Fangs, Crunch, and Ice Fang, all of which will be boosted in their power by Strong Jaw. Finally, this Pokemon has a hidden ability in the form of Wonder Skin, which is an ability that makes it so that status moves have their accuracy reduced, making this Pokemon less likely to be statused by them. But moving on to this Pokemon's stats, the first thing to note is that this Pokemon has base 68 HP, 70 defense, and 70 special defense, meaning that it is not going to be along the lines of the more bulky Pokemon that you're going to be using on your team. However, it has 2 ways to boost its defensive stats to make it a little bit more bulky if you would choose to run a more bulky set on this Pokemon. Plus, being a water type, it has access to Scald, which can burn opponents, thus allowing it to take physical hits better. But for its attacking stats, the most important one to talk about first is its base 105 physical attack, which allows this Pokemon to do a lot of damage with the physical moves that it learns. Furthermore though, its special attack is also pretty good, being base 70 and definitely usable because of the special type moves that it does have access to, and the fact that it also has a pretty nice speed stat being base 92, thus allowing you to run very effective physically offensive and even potentially specially offensive movesets for this Pokemon if you desire to do so. But with that, let's take a look at the first moveset that I have for you in this video. So for this first moveset, we're going to begin by giving Bruxish either a Jelly Nature to boost its speed or an Adamant Nature to boost its physical attack, both of which will then lower your special attack in turn. For the ability though, we're either going to go with Dazzling or Strong Jaw, and then for the EVs, we're going to put 252 EVs in your physical attack and speed stat to max both of those out, while putting the remainder 4 EVs into your special defense. As for the item, we have a choice between a Choice Band to boost your physical attack, a Choice Scarf to boost your speed quite a bit, a Life Orb to boost the damage of all of your attacks at the cost of losing 10% of your health every time you damage your opponent, an Expert Belt to boost the damage of super effective moves, an Assault Vest to boost your special defense further, leftovers to allow you to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn, or making use of a Z Crystal on this set that would correspond to any of the types of attacks that you're going to be using, thus allowing this Pokemon to have a one-time use of a very super powerful move. But for the moves, the first thing that we're going to go with on this set is going to be Waterfall to be your main stab water type attack, and then we're also going to be going with Psychic Fangs, which is a new psychic type physical attack that actually breaks through Light Screen and Reflect to be your main stab psychic type move. Now this move, in turn, is also boosted by Strong Jaw, so using this move with the Strong Jaw ability will increase its power quite a bit. Furthermore, we're also going to run another attack that is also a biting move in the form of either Crunch or Ice Fang to give you the Dark type or Ice type coverage that this Pokemon could very much benefit from. And for the last move slot, going with either Ice Fang here if you didn't in the third move slot, Poison Fang as a powerful poison biting type attack, or going with Aqua Jet to give this Pokemon a powerful priority move to make use of. But no matter how you run it, depending on if you use the Dazzling or Strong Jaw ability, this set has a lot of potential at allowing Bruxish to do a lot of damage, and if using this with a Choice Scarf and the Dazzling ability can make this Pokemon very, very difficult to revenge kill, because not only will it be very fast, but your opponent also won't have access to priority moves to take it out, which is very helpful to a Pokemon like this that is weak to stuff like Shadow Sneak and Sucker Punch. As for this next moveset, we're going to be running a boostive offensive set for this Pokemon to make use of. So again, we're going to begin with giving it either a Jolly or Adamant Nature, but this time we're only going to be going with the Strong Jaw ability to allow this Pokemon to do as much damage as possible with all of its biting type attacks. As for the EVs on this set though, they're going to be exactly the same as the previous one, with 252 EVs in your physical attack and speed, and putting the remainder 4 into your special defense. But for the item on this set, we're either going to go with a Life Orb to boost the damage of all of your attacks at the cost of losing 10% of your health every time you damage your opponent, an Expert Belt to boost the damage of super effective moves, leftovers to allow this Pokemon to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn, a Colbur Berry to reduce the damage of a super effective Dark type move, which, because we're not using Dazzling on this set, could allow this Pokemon to survive a Sucker Punch directed at it, or just allow it to not be Pursuit trapped as easily, thus giving you an additional opportunity to set up versus your opponent. But the last option could also be Water EMZ on the set to give this Pokemon access to a super powerful water type attack, or to be used in combination with one of the first moves on the set, which is going to be Rain Dance, which when used in combination with Water EMZ, in addition to setting the rain on the field, will also be boosting your speed by one stage, thus making this Pokemon significantly faster. But the other boosting option to go within the first move slot is going to be Swords Dance to allow Bruxish to boost its physical attack by 2 stages and make its attacks all very powerful. But for your main water type stab on the set, we're either going to go with the priority move in the form of Aqua Jet, or go with Waterfall to be a more strong attack, though not priority. Do keep in mind though that because Aqua Jet is priority, it is fairly weaker, so when using this set, this is something to make note of in that you're not going to be netting as much damage out of your stab water move using Aqua Jet, but the priority does come in handy. But again, we're going to be going with Psychic Fangs to be your main psychic type stab attack, and then for your last attack, going either with Crunch, Ice Fang, or Poison Fang, depending upon the coverage that you wish to have on this Pokemon on a sweeping offensive set. But moving on to a more bulky boosting set for this Pokemon, we're going to begin this one by giving it a Careful Nature to boost its special defense but lower its special attack, and then going with any ability, Dazzling obviously blocking priority as mentioned before, along with Strong Jaw boosting the power of biting moves. But Wonder Skin can also be very interesting on this moveset, as it will make it even more difficult for your opponent to status you while you attempt to set up. But for the EVs on this set, we're going to start by putting 252 EVs into its HP and its special defense to give this Pokemon its maximum special bulk possible, and then put the remainder 4 EVs into its speed stat. And since this is a more bulky moveset, we're going to be running Leftovers as the item to allow Bruxish to recover a little bit of HP at the end of every turn. But for the moves in the set, we're again going to begin with a boosting one, this time in the form of Bulk Up, which will allow you to boost your physical attack and your physical defense by 1 stage, thus making this Pokemon increasingly more bulky and powerful. And to make use of these boosted stats, we're going to start by giving this Pokemon Aqua Jet to be your main stab water type move, and then also give it Psychic Fangs to be your main stab psychic type move. Finally, for the last move slot, we can again run a coverage biting move in the form of Crunch, Ice Fang, or Poison Fang, all again giving you different type coverage to allow this Pokemon to hit different things super effectively. Poison Fang also having the chance to poison your opponent, which can be very useful in wearing them down over time. But if you want to go a more defensive route and make setting up a little bit easier, you could also run Substitute to get behind a protective barrier to shield you from attacks and statuses while you set up, or go with Rest to allow this Pokemon to recover all of its HP and also get rid of any negative statuses while it attempts to set up, and thus make use of its bulk after it's healed up all of its HP. On the other side of things, though, we could also run a special boosting variant like the previous one. So we're going to start this one off by giving it a Bold Nature to increase its physical defense but lower its physical attack, and then make use of either the Dazzling or Wonder Skin ability, with an EV spread that maximizes your physical bulk by putting 252 EVs in your HP, your physical defense stat, and then putting the remainder 4 into its speed stat, again along with using the Leftovers item. On this set though, we're going to be running this Pokemon as a Calm Minder instead of a Bulk Upper. So Calm Mind will be the first move that we're going to use to boost our special attack and our special defense by 1 stage. Then we're going to be making use of Scald to give this Pokemon a nice and powerful water type move that has a chance to burn your opponents, thus making your ability to take physical hits from them even easier, along with your added physical bulk from the EV investment. As for your next attack, we're either going to run Rest to allow this Pokemon to put itself to sleep, thus giving it the opportunity to heal up all of its health and get rid of any statuses it might have been received, or go with Substitute on this set to allow this Pokemon to again get behind a protective barrier to shield it from attacks and statuses while it attempts to set up. Finally, for the last move, we could either go with Sleep Talk here to allow this Pokemon to use that in combination with Rest, thus giving you that great Rest Talk combo and making use of only 1 attack in Scald, or going with Psychic on the set to give you 2 type coverage moves, one being your main water type move and one being your main psychic type stab attack for a special attacking Bruxish set. Finally, for this last move set, we can also run Bruxish as a dual screener. So we're going to start this one off by giving it either an Impish or Careful Nature if you want to go the physical attacking route, as both will lower your special attack while increasing either your physical defense in the Impish nature or your special defense in the Careful nature, or you can go the specially offensive route by going with either a Bold or Calm nature, both of which lower your physical attack, while Bold will be increasing your physical defense, while Calm will be increasing your special defense. But for the ability, again for this set, we can go with any of the three options. As for the EVs, we're going to put 252 into its HP stat, and then either max its physical defense or special defense with 252 EVs into that stat, while putting the remainder 4 EVs into its speed. Finally, for the item, we're either going to put leftovers on this Pokemon to allow it to regain HP at the end of every turn, or go with the Light Clay item to extend the turns of Reflect and Light Screen, which are the first two moves on this moveset, from 5 to 8, allowing you to protect this Pokemon and its teammates for longer. As for your attacks though, we're either going to go with Scald to be a main stab water type special move that has a chance to also burn your opponent, or go with Aqua Jet to give this Pokemon a nice priority water move to make use of. Finally, for the last move slot, we could either run Aqua Jet here, which even when used in combination with Scald on a moveset that might be lowering your physical attack, is still useful because this Pokemon does have a nice base physical attack regardless, but is also just nice to have a priority move. However, if you want to go with a more powerful special attack along with Scald, you can go with Psychic, and on the opposite side of things, if you're going with Aqua Jet in the third move slot, you can run Psychic Fangs here to allow this Pokemon to have a powerful Psychic type stab physical move to make use of. But anyways, everyone, that is it for this video on Bruxish. So thank you all for watching, and as always, take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.